G'day, Andy from Soil Building Inspections here. This is a longer form video just explaining what you should expect in a building inspection report. I'm just going to bring one up here, a preview of a PDF of. So this is the front cover of an inspection report that you would receive, and what you are going to expect. I've got page for content, a page for all the inspection details, so the client's details, my details, the fact that they've signed the pre-inspection agreement, which is something that we do to ensure that our clients understand that these are done under Australian standards conditions. Just some basic agreement that they can sign before we do our inspection. Then they're going to get a defect summary. This will show, you can see these blue boxes here. So there's light blue boxes are maintenance items, and the other blue boxes there are minor defects that we found in this particular report. And if I come right in here, you can see that we've got exterior buildings, roof space, internal rooms, wet areas, and so on. So we go through when we go through our inspection, we're going through systematically. This isn't just us walking through the property and hoping to find a defect. We're going through every single element of the building. We're looking at structure, we're looking at moisture, we're looking for pests, we're looking at all the finishes and doors and windows and every element of the house. And that's going to ensure that we don't miss anything because we're going through in a systematic way. And our software that we use to create our PDF report allows us to do that, and it also allows us to have a summary like that of the defects that were found. So as we go through, there's some basic information about the structure of the building and the services for the building, so the water, the power, phone, gas, all that sort of information is on the report. We've got external structures, fences, driveways, gates, stairs, balustrades, handrails, all that sort of stuff. Carports, so we've got external buildings, so we've got sheds, carports, verandas, decks, retaining walls, all that sort of stuff. And each element has this table, and it shows all the elements that are satisfactory or not applicable or minor or major defects or safety hazards. All that stuff is pointed out throughout this one. So on here I can see for the deck, which had a roof over it, so I had a veranda over the top of it, but it's part of the deck, part of this report, that the roof cladding has a minor defect. So if we continue past that table, there's actually photos of the roof above this deck, and it's a polycarbonate roof that had holes all through it and needed replacement. And we put an estimated cost on how much it's going to cost to replace the polycarbonate roofing on that structure. Continuing on, that one also had a minor defect for the downpipe for that deck area. It didn't have it wasn't connected into the stormwater system, so water's just running onto the ground here. And yes, they've made a bit of a channel that makes it go towards a drain, but it wasn't effective. It's not how it should be done. It'd be quite simple to dig a trench across that little section there and connect it into the stormwater system. This way we're not going to have excessive amounts of moisture settling around the foundations and causing any issues there. Roof space. Looking through the roof space, we've got fascias, we've got a maintenance item here because there's some moisture affected areas of this fascia because of the guttering, and that's because the guttering had some leaks in it. The guttering was in okay condition, so it didn't need replacing. It's just these leaks needed to be sealed up. So that's part of that maintenance item. We've even put a maintenance item on some of the ridge capping on this tiled roof. So just informing the buyer that, hey, this roof is performing okay, there's no leaks, but we've noticed that some of the pointing around the capping on this tiled roof is going to need some maintenance in order to maintain a watertight roof. We continue on to the floor space. So we get under the house. We crawl under there. We have a good look. We're looking. We usually do the floor space last because we go through the house first and we test all the plumbings. We're testing all of the. We're not a licensed plumber. Just got to make that note. But we do go through. We turn on all the taps. Turn them on flat out. We let them run for a bit. That enables us to check the fixtures and fittings, make sure there's no obvious leaks. All the pipes that we can see from inside aren't leaking. And then we get underneath the subfloor area and check the waste pipes that we can see under the floor to see if any of that is leaking also. And it also enables us to just see if there's any immediate plumbing issues that are going on. And then we go through internal rooms. We're going through every single room, and every single room has all of these check boxes. So we've got satisfactory for 99.9% of this one. So we've got walls, ceilings, doors, tiling, windows, built-in robes, floor coverings, everything. So I can see here there's some maintenance items on doors. Generally that means that there's some door hardware, or the door might be binding on the frame a little bit because the hinges have come loose. Just maintenance items like that. See that there's not really any issues here, but we've even got some photos for some of those maintenance items, just pointing out to the client where they need to make these adjustments. This particular property had new carpet put in and the doors hadn't been adjusted afterwards, so they were just binding on the floor a little bit as they were operating. It meant that they weren't closing and opening smoothly. They're rubbing on the carpet. Basic maintenance items, not a defect. The door was still usable. Kitchen. So we're going through the kitchen items here. There's satisfactory for all the kitchen items. This kitchen was in good condition. So we go through and check all the doors, all the drawers, sink, plumbing, floor coverings, everything. We did wet areas. So this light switch, here we go, is an electrical item. That light switch was dodgy as. It was almost popping out of the fixture, the fitting, and so that needed a replacement. So just a standard site visit from a licensed electrician and material costs to replace a basic light switch in a toilet. So there was a estimated cost put on that. And we continue through. Again, a table of all the stuff that we've gone through and checked. And I can see that there are some minor defects here. So what do we got? The tiling in the bathroom was done really badly and it was delaminating from the subfloor. This shower here, it wasn't actually, the floor tiles weren't even falling to the floor waste. They were falling, if I can just see, they were all falling to the wall, and then the water was just ponding along this wall. So we've explained in detail in the notes here about what's happening and why it's a defect, and that from underneath the subfloor area that we could see that there were some issues in and around this. There wasn't a huge amount of moisture underneath. The waterproofing may be in pretty good condition underneath here, but the tiles were popping off of the substrate. So these floor tiles needed to be pulled up, and the tiling within the shower area would need to be removed as well in order to reinstate the waterproofing correctly and to have these tiles installed correctly. No fixtures or fittings needed to be replaced. It's just some issues with that. So it's not a full bathroom renovation. So we haven't gone and stuck 20, 25 grand on this. That would be the cost of a full renovation, replacing everything. But we've put a nominated amount on this particular one. And I'm not telling you the amounts during this video just because every single situation is different. And it depends on the size of the bathroom, depends on, like for like. So if it's a high-end bathroom that's got high-end tiles, then we're going to do an estimate based on the fact that you're replacing like for like. Yeah. Continuing on, what do we got? So what was this one? This is a maintenance item. Here you go as an example of just a maintenance item. So the door handle on the front door, laundry door. This is the rear door. It wasn't working properly. So we've put it as a maintenance item. It was still operating, and I believed that this current door handle could be fixed with some maintenance, and it didn't need a full replacement. And then we're going through all the structural elements as well. So there was some minor cracking in some of the brickwork, not enough to warrant any underpinning, but our report shows all structural reporting. This one it had cracking, so we reported that there was some cracking, but it was put down as satisfactory. Continuing on, we've got here, and then there's just a report summary at the end. And for this one, it gives a quick summary. It says that there's no major defects found, and then it gives the total of the estimated costs that were put in for all of those minor defects that were throughout the report. And then there's a certified statement at the end that can be used by your conveyancer. If it goes over the defect limit and you're wanting to get out of your contract, you can utilize our report as a legal document to certify that it has gone over the defect limit, and that will enable you to get out of the contract if you wish to do so. But I always encourage buyers to call me even if it has gone over the defect limit, because it may be a situation where yes, it's gone over the defect limit, but you're actually happy to proceed with the purchasing of the property. That was a lot longer than I thought it was going to be, but that's a building inspection, and that's the report, and that's what you're going to get. You're going to get a very, very thorough report, but it's very, very easy to understand as well. And as always, you can contact us and you can have a discussion about any of the stuff that's in the report, and we will go through it step by step with you. That's what we're here for. We're here to give you the peace of mind you need to buy with confidence. Until next time.